Happy Wednesday. My hair is a hot mess today because it was a workout day and did not wash it. So good thing it's virtual, right? And dry shampoo exists. We're also live over here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and the podcast, Courageous and Free with Jacqueline Mack. This will be recorded for that. Any comments, any love, any questions, concerns, shout outs, please share. Please let me know what's landing for you, what's activated, what's a takeaway that you're going to implement and impact not only your business, but also your life. And today we're talking about unlocking your authority, how conviction can actually double your sales and create lasting impact in both business and life, because authority is part of master decision making and helping others make a decision based on our level of authority. And when we talk about this, because it's, I believe, one of the least spoken about secrets or codes when it comes to business and life and being powerful in the roles that we commit to or take on. And the underlying piece of conviction, when you add conviction to your authority, especially in sales, and this topic will be probably hit on the most in this episode is sales. I'm doing Sales September for a lot of my business clients out there and followers to help you boost here at the end of 2024 and still have your best year yet and not blaming lack of sales for that. Shame on you if you are, or if you're throwing in the towel too soon. So what am I speaking about here? Sales success, personal life development. What type of conviction and authority do you play, or are you lacking in showing up in? Because building a personal brand, building out personal relationships, building out anything that you actually give a shit about, to be very frank, really does ride on your authority and your conviction around what it is you stand for and what it is you don't. Conviction is your key to unlocking that genuine connection in business and life, increased sales, deeper fulfillment in both business and life. And we are going to break that down here today and going over how conviction plays a role and how it's way more important than convincing. So there's so many sales tactics out there that I poo-poo constantly that have that slimy convincing feel to them on both sides, and how we can flip this into a very successful season of sales and how mastering your authority can actually create that long-term growth in a business and beyond, even if the person said no the first time, or I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my spouse, when they really wanted to say yes. So when you operate from a place of authority, you lead with intention, you lead with confidence, and you lead with clarity. And it's essential to everything that we do in closing deals, building trust with clients, colleagues, and even loved ones. And if you missed the episode on imposter syndrome, go back and listen to it, because as you start to tap into your authority state and the different kinds of authority that you hold, we have our logic, we have our intuitive, we have a couple more that I go deeper in with my one-on-one clients, imposter syndrome will pop up. So if you want the solutions and the tips to overcome imposter syndrome, go back to the episode on imposter syndrome and you'll have all the keys for that as well. So let's talk about this real quick first. The conviction versus convincing. Why people can see right through it, because it's a lack of your conviction. When you're starting to convince someone, it means that you're falling out of your authority and you're stepping away from the conviction that you had possibly at the start of the conversation or the start of the relationship even. And how deeply, when you believe with conviction in your own product, your service, your message, you will instantly change your outcomes. This is the huge difference between, again, closing percentages that are in the low 10%, 15%, and shifting it to another 20, 30 to 50 plus conviction. It is the secret sauce to selling and relationships as a whole. So if you're like, yes, my sales is sucking and so is my love life, this is probably why. So you're welcome. This will help both sides of the coin. So let's talk about how. We first have to seek to understand before being understood. Not, no, you don't understand. Slow down. And this is where quality questions come in. The quality questions are going to give you what you need as the authoritative figure, the solution provider, to personalize the solution for them. Even though if you're like, Jackie, my program is the same thing, my consulting is the same thing, I get it. But when you seek to understand before being understood, you also qualify that person to be the right fit for somebody that you actually want to work with. How many times did you allow somebody to buy something and you were involved in the transaction and in the service providing, and you're like, oh, goodness gracious, you couldn't pay me enough to work with that person? Hello, you probably didn't seek to understand really where they're coming from, or they sold you on something. They sold you on something so good that you didn't want to turn it away, and yet there was more work to do, right? So guiding the other person into the decision-making process, watching how they either blame or shame themselves, circumstances, people, money, their limiting beliefs or perspective on why they really need to do something, but then why they also use those same circumstances, people, money, limiting beliefs, perspectives to stop them from doing the thing they know that will give them the transformation, that will give them the experience they are desiring and, hello, most importantly, deserve. What they don't know, they don't know. What they don't know, they don't know. Everybody has, they know what they know what they don't know, and they don't know what they don't know. I'm the same way. I know what I know what I don't know, but there's pockets that I don't know. And this is why I surround myself with other amazing thought leaders, influencers, coaches, experts to teach me those things, because they're my blind spots. What I don't know. So when we can shine that spotlight of truth and we're open to being understanding of the different perspectives and being brave enough to agree to disagree, this makes all the difference for both parties in play. When you do this with conviction versus convincing, you gain trust as a leader, you gain credibility, which is required in all relationships. And this happens again in both business, sales, and personal life areas. The second thing I want to bring up is active listening. Active listening. Are you a good active listener? Are you practicing your active listening skills on a regular basis? And are you being super intentional with the questions that you're asking to get the answers you are seeking so that you can be 1,000% certain in your conviction and your authority that you have a solution for this person? Before you even share anything that you do, you need to find out first if you can help them, right? This is why I say a structure of the sales process is way more important than the scripting. The structure is greater than the scripting. And I am going to be giving that out free here when I release money codes. For those who are very interested, let me know in advance and I'll give it to you sooner than later. And so when you are mastering the art of active listening, you're asking high quality questions, you're being intentional with those questions that guide the clients and loved ones to the right decisions. That meaning right. There's no right or wrong, good or bad, but the right decisions for them without them feeling pressured or uncertain. They might feel a little afraid, fear, excitement, queasiness. Fear is going to pop up. And those are my favorite. It's like if you're feeling a little fearful or a little scared, and yet you know this is what you want to do, it's like that butterfly effect in your tummy and your central area. It's like, oh, I know this is what I want, but damn, it's so out of like what's my norm. It's not familiar. And that's what the body is creating the fear for. It's like, hello, this isn't predictable and familiar. Don't do it. Logical mind might try to chime in and say it just like that or something like that. But in all reality, it's like if we keep doing the same thing and we expect a different result, that's the definition of what? Insanity. So it's our turn to really help that person in our authority and our conviction to say, hey, this is very normal. Not a single person who's joined any one of my programs has ever said, man, this is the biggest thing I've ever done. Or wow, this is a stretch for me. Good. This is how we start practicing being being very comfortable with being comfortable. Being super duper comfortable so much that it becomes like second nature with the discomfort of the expansion and the growth. Now it's discomfort, it's not pain. That's a whole nother topic for another time. And again, no pressure. on the person you're engaging with and no pressure on yourself to get the deal, because nobody likes to feel gotten and nobody likes to go out and get someone. Amen. Hallelujah. I could end this talk now, but I want to jump into a couple more pieces here that really help you tap into your authority and your conviction, embodiment of your authority. Well, what is that? Well, when you finally embody something, it becomes who you are and how you show up. This is how I sold millions and millions and millions for other companies. This is how I helped structure and set up sales teams and other companies to crush it and enjoy the ride and not burn out like I did twice. Because I was activated by what authority was. I integrated authoritative behaviors and utilized all the different authority components of who I am, the logical, the intuitive, and a couple others. And then I embodied it. It became who I was and how I showed up, and people knew me as the person, the go-to person, because I was always in my authoritative mode, backed by the conviction. So what it means to truly embody your authority and how it transforms your conversations from transactional to transformative. I was trying to mix transformation and transformative together, right? This is how we were starting off. And plus I just got a distraction. My daughter needs picked up from school. Hello, welcome to the real world. So this must happen first and then I will go get her. So embodied authority is truly embodying your authoritative states and what that means, how it transforms your conversations from transactional to transformative. That's it at the end of the day. We'll explore how this skill not only boosts your sales, but creates deeper, more meaningful relationships in all areas of life. If this is who you are and how you show up, people are going to respect you on a whole nother level. People are going to value your time, therefore pay you more. Hands down. I remember back in the beginning of my coaching days, this was right out of 2009, 2010. I was still doing some one-on-one coaching, getting into luxury real estate, selling multi-million dollar homes over in Isleworth here in the central Orlando area. And I was $700 a month for my accountability life coaching. And I look at that and I was like, damn, no wonder that person was working with me for a couple years. I was definitely really good at holding him accountable, so good that he didn't know how to hold himself accountable. I didn't teach him how to own his authority to hold himself accountable, right? And it was like obviously blossoming all other areas of his life. He was selling more. He found the love of his life. He got engaged and set a wedding date right when I fired him as a client. And I fired him because I'm like, I don't want to keep taking your money. I either am not the best to getting you to the next level, but you don't need a coach for the rest of your life. A really good coach, that's when my light bulb went off, coaches someone for what? A month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and gives them the tools and techniques and methods to be able to do things on their own, to activate, integrate, and embody the lessons, the teachings. So it becomes a part of who they are in their next level of wealth, of richness, of all the things they desire and deserve. And it wasn't until that light bulb went off and I'm like, oh, this is why personal trainers and certain therapists, and I don't poo-poo them. I have many of them that are my best friends, actually love their clients for life. They're like, yeah, this client's been a client for 5 years or for life. And I'm like, is that really serving them? On some level, I'm sure it totally is, especially in the therapy space. But on other levels, it's like, where do they still need the healing? Where do they still need the understanding? Where do they still need another authority figure with expertise to come in and help them with what's holding them back in one place, right? And this is why I have experts that I refer clients to in the areas that I am not an expert in, or I'm dabbling in and I know about it, but I'm not fully in my authority to do, teach, or share it. Make sense? So in order to do this, it must be embodied, not just a thought today on this podcast, this live, not just, oh, that's a great idea. Check. I need to be in my authority. No, how do you show up in your authority? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How is it showing up in your day-to-day life, in your business, and in your personal life? Because how we do anything is how we do everything. And if we're not happy with how things are and we're not willing to change, you're going to hear this till the day I die. What you're not changing, you're choosing. like, no, I'm not choosing this circumstance. I'm not choosing this lack of money. I'm not choosing this right now. But you are, because you're not changing it. And it takes a lot of courage to admit, first and foremost, and get clear that something needs to be changed. And then what the heck do you do to change it in some of these very, very sticky situations and circumstances and challenges that pop up in life? So I don't take that lightly, but I'm telling you, change, potential, and possibility are there. You just might need some help in seeing that, believing that, taking action in that. Okay, enough on that one. Breaking through the no's. This is something that I tell people. You can practice your sales all day and overcome objections all day. But if you don't get good at hearing a no, at least 50% of the time, and those are for really, really strong closers, because the average good closer is 25 to 33%. Anything above that, you're now in the mastery side of things, at least in the online business space. I'm not talking account management. I'm talking real sales, cold or a little bit warmed up. Not account management. Account management is I've had this account for a while and I keep renewing them. That's different, but it's still sales. But this is not what I'm talking about. The best salespeople hear no, like I said, at least 50%, if not 75% of the time. How do you handle that? How do you manage that rejection without imposter syndrome setting in, without bringing that negative energy to your next call, without losing your confidence and your conviction and your authority? Following up with conviction and your authority will dramatically, and I'm not saying this just because I think it works. I know it works. And this is part of what I teach in Money Codes, is increasing your closing percentages by another 25 or 50% because of very aligned strategic follow-up. So let's just say you're a decent closer and you're closing at 30%. Let's just say the other 70% you follow up with and you close another 50% of those. So that's 35 plus 30 is 65%. If that happens within 30, 60, 90 days, would you be mad? No, right? One of my favorite follow-up lines is it, hey, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. No, because you are. If you're following up with like, hey, just checking in. Did you get that? Do you have any questions? No, that's 101, right? The strongest follow-up is, hey, Sarah, I tried following up and didn't hear back. Where would you like to go from here? Very in your authority with conviction, like, I have something I know will radically shift and change your life, will give you a transformation in either in your health, your business, your wealth, your relationships. Let's go back to your wealth again, both intangible and tangible. And I know it works. And I remember telling you that on the call. That's basically what it says in a very short 2 lines. Do you want it or do you not? What would you like to do and go from here? What are the next steps? You tell me. It sounds like you're giving your authority to them, but you see how you're actually still in your authority and your conviction without them taking it away. This is the sales that nobody's talking about because everybody thinks it's a secret to what's getting them to close from 30% to 50%. And I'm here to tell you, I am here to impact more lives through all these other businesses and thought leaders and business owners I consult with, because I know I'm one person. I can only take so many sales calls a day. But if I help 10 people over at a company that's crushing it and went from 60K months about to have their first $1 million month this year, how many lives did I indirectly impact because of coaching and call reviewing all these other 10 sales reps? Hundreds, soon to be thousands. And that is what gets me super excited and allows me to sleep good at night. Even though I'm not making, the $1 million or the 20% of that $1 million, that means nothing to me now. I'm all about time freedom and impact. The money freedom is there. And of course, I'm growing it. Of course, I'd love to have more of it, but it's not the main focus like it was in my 20s. In my 20s and early 30s, it burned me out when that was the main focus. And this is another talk for another conversation. So I'm going to end that one here. But learn to hear the no's. Learn to not just hear them, but not allow them to affect your state. And then also know that sometimes that's a boundary and sometimes we have to be respectful of that. But when we hear the no, are we willing to be brave and bold enough in our authority and conviction to stand up for someone in ways that they've never stood up for themselves or never had anybody else stand up for them and speak the truth, even though it's hard to hear? And that's how I preface it. Sarah, this might be hard to hear, But I believe in sharing the truth and speaking the truth and only but the truth. So help me God. And if I don't share this wisdom of truth with you right now, I don't know how I'm going to sleep well tonight. Are you open to me sharing the truth, even if it's hard to hear? Wow. Yeah. Okay. It's coming out with love, but it might be a little blunt and hard. And that's not my intention. My intention is for you to hear it so you can do something about it, because everything is possible on the other side of the truth. Do you agree? Yes. Then I share it. So the reason you're not doing this today is because of excuse 1. The reason you say this isn't possible is because of excuse 2. Are you okay with that? Would you ever regret saying no today? Would you ever regret saying yes? Permission to say no. What I don't allow is, I don't know, I need to think about it. That's not decision mastery. And that's what I live, breathe, eat, and teach. I can't let somebody get off a phone. I don't know. I need to think about it. I need to research. I need to go sit in my prayer closet. Which again, if you want access to all that, how to overcome all those objections with integrity, authenticity, and true alignment, Money Codes is going to be your thing. And it's coming out here just in a few short weeks. I can't wait. Okay. The role of conviction in personal life. This is for my people who've been following me for a while and are here for the personal growth. Whether it's saying, I love you, or how are you? This is with intention and eye contact. I know I'm looking up here, Instagram people. It's because I'm recording this for a podcast, remember. But this is the key, the intention around your conviction. And are you leading your family unit as a parent with the authority and conviction and empathy? And are you teaching this to your children of authority? That's not controlling. Don't get me wrong. This is where people hear, come on, admit it. You hear the word discipline and you're like, I'm either in trouble or there's a lack of something if it's related to my diet or my workout. I have to be disciplined in the things I don't want to do because that's my relationship with the word discipline. We are meaning making machines. No, discipline means freedom, and you get to choose what you're disciplined in. I'm disciplined in working out only so many days a week because I know that works for me and it feels really freaking good and I'm getting results. I'm getting freedom from disease. I'm getting freedom from being weak. I'm getting freedom from being injured. I get disciplined from eating chocolate and I enjoy that every freaking day and I'm disciplined in it. I'm disciplined in setting my timer and working so many hours and then taking a break and go playing with my dog or snuggling with the cats or checking in on a friend. I'm disciplined in also shutting off my phone when my kids get off the bus because I only get 9 more summers with them, which means a few more school years to be fully engaged and they're in my life and they want to be a part of it. And this is me making my core memories with them and vice versa. So we get to choose what we're disciplined in. And we get to lead from the place of authority. Authority is freedom too. It's not controlling someone because the truth is, good luck with that. You will cause so much challenge and constriction and challenges in your life galore by trying to control an authoritative state of control. Mentioned earlier, there are different states of authority. Controlling, let that baby go. The only thing you can control are 2 things. I have a whole nother episode on podcast. Go check it out on that. So, are you saying I love you with intention? Are you saying how are you with intention? Are you really giving someone your full attention and your authority to allow them to feel safe and open up to you? This will create a more richer, more fulfilling relationship, both in business and life. Because of it's rooted in conviction. It's rooted in confidence. It's rooted in a space that is safe. People will trust you and respect you, hands down. So there's so much more I want to share, but I do want to respect the time. I like to keep these at 20, 25 minutes. Obviously, if you need anything or everything popped up about, who am I to be in my authority, go check out the imposter syndrome episode. I promise you it will help you. I have 5 tips on how you can overcome imposter syndrome anywhere, anytime. You can go into my bio, my links in the show notes and go check that out. Go grab it. It's free. Nobody should ever be stopped by going towards their dreams and their vision because of imposter syndrome. Please hear me out on that. Go grab it. Nobody should ever be stopped from the next sale or the next phone call or the conversation or relationship building because their authority got jacked up because somebody said no and beat them up with objections. So I'm sending you off with so much love. Until next time, bye for now.